Sawadee krap, I'm Stuart J. Raj and welcome to this ThaiBites live episode. Now, this is an episode that people have been asking for, and it's hopefully going to be one on a series of many similar topics and a continuation of today, Isan. So basically, today is the first day we've gone in our ThaiBites live and looked at another Thai dialect that is spoken in Thailand. So I've called today Turning Central Thai into Isan and back. Now, just a few things as you're coming in and you're listening. I'm just seeing everybody is in here and they're all in attendance at the moment. If you are having problems with the audio or the video or something, just send me a message through and I'll be able to make sure things are happening here. I can see people have already started comments. Great. And start sending your questions now. I'll give about a 15-minute to 20-minute lesson, and then I want to hand it back to you. But I've prepared a whole bunch of stuff today, all in helping you turn your Central Thai into Isan. And then if many people might have learned their Thai in not just Isan, but other provinces of Thailand, and you might have heard some people when you go to Central Thailand, if you come to Bangkok, and they say, oh, they can hear they put ne, you speak ne, is basically you're speaking a bit off the mark. So, and a lot of the time they'll say that to people who are trying to speak Central Thai, but they've got some foreign tones on their accent or foreign sounds on their accent, both to Thais who come from upcountry and to foreigners. So if you don't want to put ne when you're speaking Central Thai too, you can use these same principles we're going to learn today and change your Thai back into Central Thai. So this is why I've called this Turning Central Thai into Isan and back. Now, so what is Isan? And is it a different language? Is it just a dialect? What's the difference between all of that? Well, I want to show you a couple of maps, and these maps were going around the internet this past couple of weeks. Let me just get in here, and here we go. So you should be able to see this map now. Now these can be quite controversial, but you have a look here. When people talk about Thailand, what are we talking about? Okay, we're talking about what we know now as Thailand, but these used to be a whole lot of different kingdoms here. We have up the top here, let me just get my pen, I'll turn it to a color that's going to stand out. Maybe, I guess, some red here. So here, you know, you've got the Lana Kingdom here. Then we had the Lansang Kingdom here. Oh, it doesn't want to go there. And then we have, I'll just click down, okay. We had, now the whole Ayutthaya Empire was down here. So it was only this portion of Thai, which I guess we would call Central Thailand now down to the south. And then there was the Cambodian Empire here, and Lansang. So then over time, so look, just in those 300 years, this became the Khmer Kingdom, all of this. And then in 1909, so this is a map as it stood then. Now, I've got another map here I want you to have a look at, though. This is a look at the, we have basically the yellow is 1884, okay, what belonged to France. By 1893, what belonged to France. So all of this down here, and 1907. So it says here, by 1907, France ceded Siam, historic Lao claims to the territory, but it's still populated by ethnic Lao. So this is from this website down here, Savananet. But you can see here, many people up in Isan still, they will say they speak Lao. Wow, Lao. Wow is the word for put, speak. So when we're talking about Isan, what are we talking about, and what am I going to be teaching today? Well, in learning any kind of dialect or language of a subset, so even if you're talking Italian, Spanish versus Latin, you have sound shifts, so key sounds that are different. So for example, in Italian, Porto, Spanish, puerta, Porto, puerta. You can see they're obviously from the same root, but there are some sound changes there. In in Lao, Isan, Thai, and all the other Thai dialects, you have similar sound shifts, which we'll be touching on today. Then you have vocabulary. So like I just mentioned then, Put is the word for speak in Central Thai. But if you speak Lao or Isan, they'll use the word wow. Okay, wow Lao, to speak Lao instead of Put Pasa Lao, Put Lao, wow Lao. Okay, and you can hear actually the tone shift there too. And then finally, there are many cultural elements. So we have sounds, vocabulary, and culture. All of these things, let me just pull that picture out there. It's getting a bit distractive. But all of those three elements go to help make up your language when you're learning it. Now, what we're going to be doing today, because I don't have a lot of time, I really wanted to focus on the things that are going to make the biggest impact first, and that is the sounds. Because the sounds, once you understand this system, you can actually apply it to any language across Thailand, like we learn, and even up into Lao and up into southern China. And these same principles will work, and you'll be able to sound like you speak decent local version of the language. So I'm going to pull this here, and let's look first. So today we're going to be looking at tones, vowels, consonants, and then finally, if we have a bit of time, I will get into the vocab then. But these getting these sounds right is going to be crucial from the beginning. So I've put this little thing together here. If you remember, we have these standard tones for Thai. So here, basically the words, let me get my pen here, and I might change, I'll change the color. Oh, we can keep it here. Anyway, so you can see right there we have aspirated H, which is your high class. So this is high class, middle class, low class, and then we have here no tone marker is the 0. We have Mai Ek is your number 1, long dead. So that means caught. So for example, ha, it's cut off at the end, ha, ha. Mai To, number 2 tone marker, and short dead. So if you're wanting to get back in those, you can go to last week's webinar on tones, where we covered all of this quite thoroughly. And so we learned this is just happens that at this snapshot in time, this is Bangkok Standard Thai back a few hundred years ago, and this became the standard Thai tone map. So I've actually done some colors there, and you can see how many colors do we have. 1, 2, we have like this blue, yellow, pink, that's a low tone. Blue is the rising tone here I've put in. Yellow, we call it common tone. We've got green as the falling tone, and as a high tone, so starts high, gets higher, is this red, faded red color. Okay, but really, and I hear people when they're learning a new language, or Cantonese or Thai or Mandarin or Vietnamese, and they're counting how many tones to find out how easy or difficult it's going to be. Don't count tones. Just look at these contours and see how they fit together, because all the languages are going to fit into this 3x5 grid that we have here. Actually, there's another grid section, but I wanted to use this one because Marvin Brown's book then have all, and you can see his book here. That's probably going to throw but from ancient Thai to modern dialects, and he has all these dialects mapped out according to this system. So I just wanted to put them here so you can actually get a hold of that book if you want, if you're interested in other ones. Use these principles we're using today and learn the other languages. Now, watch what happens. I'm going to take those color contours off now. There we are. And now, because actually every village is different. They have different tone contours, but have a look at here. This is Isan. Now it's a special, this is actually Isan from Yasothon, Ubon, Mueang Samsip, and all that area there. If you go to Loi Et, it changes a little bit, and they all change as you go around a little bit. But this one, basically, if you speak with these tone contours, you will see you'll be sounding very Isan. So let's have a look at them. What happens? Basically, if you pronounce words in Thai and you shift from the red tone to the green tone, you're going to be sounding Isan. So let me use an example here. Actually, I'll come back to my pad because it's easier to write here. And I have put them up here. And by the way, that third one that you see here. So as I'm doing this, if you actually are more interested in speaking the Isan from Vientiane in Lao, you can see here exactly the same. I'll turn these colors off. I must have, oh, there we go. Okay, so you can see red is Bangkok, green is Isan from those places that I mentioned, Yasothon, all that area up there, Ubon, and then blue is standard Lao that you would learn if you went to Vientiane and they were teaching you Lao. So what is happening here? Well, basically, all of your high class. So let me pull into this now. Actually, that's probably not a great image to have there. Let me I'll delete this image and I'll use. Let me take a screenshot of this other image so that I can write on it. So here we are. You get to see this fantastic technical feats in progress. I'm going to delete that one there. So I'll delete this image here. Actually, let me just open a new one up. There we go. And I will add this photo here so I can draw on it. You'll notice as we go there that actually counting the tones doesn't really do anything. There we are. That's the one I just took there. So that's going to hopefully come up here. I'll, well, that's gone up there. Let me move it down. And I'll move this down a couple of pages. Here we go. Okay. So actually, let's move that up. Okay. So as we look, just as you're going through, have a look at those tone. Okay. Okay. Somebody's just mentioned if you're having problems with sound, Catherine said switch from Chrome to Safari and the sound is fixed. I'm not sure. That's strange that it's not working on Chrome. Also, you can start sending the question through. I see some that have come through already, but okay, I'm just going to continue on with this. So I'm going to I'll switch to a green pencil because we're going to be talking about Isan here. So here we go. I've got green. Now, so if I had the word, where are we? There's my pen. If I had the word ka, ka, okay, ka meaning leg, ka. So in Isan, well, in standard modern Thai, you would read it like this, ka, follow this red line up here, okay? So in standard Isan, be ka. Oh, sorry, standard Central Thai, it would be ka, like this. And actually in Isan, it's almost exactly the same, but it stays at ka. Okay, pretty much the same. But watch what happens. Supposing I take a word like the word Ginn. Now, so here's the spelling of ka. That's a high class. If I use Ginn in standard Thai, what is this? This is a middle class letter. So Ginn, 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 got it there? If you go up there to Isan, becomes Ginn, Ginn, okay? Ginn, it goes down further. Ginn, into a lower register of your voice. If I look at cow, okay, so I'll just write on here the word cow. Cow, falling tone in standard Thai, because that's a maitor. You see this maitor on a high class, cow. But you can have a look here in Isan, becomes cow. It's just this really low tone. So from กินข้าว กินข้าว. In standard Thai, central Thai, it becomes กินข้าว กินข้าว กินข้าว. So กินข้าว becomes กินข้าว. And basically, that's the principle that you're going to be using when you're when you're making these sound changes for the tones. Let's take another word. ความรัก. Okay, so I'll write ความรัก, meaning love. Okay, ความรัก. So if we look in, I'll do the central Thai up there. Now the standard central is kwam. It's a common tone. You can see here because it's a low class common, the red line there. Kwam. And then rak, this is a low class short dead. So we have short dead, low class, which are the voiced here. And so rak is this high tone. Kwam rak, it's this one just here. Okay. So ความรัก in standard Thai becomes in Isan. Now let's see. ความ, so we're looking, instead of this one here, we go to the green line. ความ. And then rak. Now two things happen here, which we'll learn in a minute. Ra becomes ha, becomes an R, becomes an H. So rak becomes down here. Instead of rak, you see this tone line up here is standard Thai. We're going to do this green one. So becomes kwam rak. Well, it's down a little further. Kwam rak. And then rak is hak. So kwam hak. Kwam hak. And some people would even say fam hak. Kwam hak. From kwam rak, fam hak. Ra turns into ha. Kwamrak, 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 kwamrak. Can you see that? So just with shifting these tones according to this graph, and I'll put these up for everybody, or you can just come back to this screen here and see that you can shift your Thai, you can shift your central Thai into not only Isan or Lao, but any other dialect out there just by doing these simple conversions. Now, how would you say kwamrak in Lao? Well, kwam, we're going to follow the blue line now. So it'll be kwam, as this one here going up. I'll actually, let me turn to a different color. So now we're talking about Vientiane. So this is kwam, and then rak would be the same. So kwam hak. If you're in Vientiane, if you were in Isan, it would be kwam hak. La Vientiane, kwam hak. Isan, kwam hak. You see, it's just using these same tone patterns over there. So rule number one, use this chart to shift your tones. Whatever it is that you've learned for central Thai tones, now you can start to look here. And now, so if I take these central tones away, and I'll take actually the Vientiane tones away here first, you can see the tone contours of Isan that I have put in here. Okay, so again, you don't have to color, but just looking at these tone contours, and again, when you're looking at this clip again, it'll be up there on the internet. You can come back and pause on this. Just try and remember this color map, and this will help you lock the colors into the pitch differences, and then all you have to do is remember where the colors were on the map and embed that into your subconscious, embed that into your muscle memory that's going on, so you can change your throat. Okay, and then let me just shift to Lao, by the way. So I'll turn the so this is Vientiane, and that's the color map for Vientiane. So if we have a look between, I'll take the colors off now and bring in Isan there. You can have a look, the main differences between Isan, Lao, and Vientiane. Okay, you can see high class 0. I'm going to go through each one. So H0, the high class, no tone marker. is still rising, kind of, but this is a big difference. So the word Ginn instead in Isan would be Ginn. In Vientiane would be Ginn, Ginn. It's this rising one, just like the high class. And if I said the word, for example, Ling, that's a low class, which is the old voiced. Instead of Ling in Isan, it would be Ling, 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 Ling in Isan, Ling in Vientiane. You can see that for Mai Ek, basically all Mai Ek keeps the tones held evenly. That's a good way to remember them. In Vientiane, it's just a little bit lower than in standard Isan. Long dead, again, it's very similar to Mai Ek, except you can see in Isan it pushes them right down. Okay. And for the long dead on low class, this one is low class here, the voiced. It gives it this falling kind of tone, but from a mid-range. So if I said the word when lab, 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 as in what you eat, lab mu, they would say lab, lab mu, lab, instead of lab. You can see I'm starting from a more central part in my voice. Maitor basically gives everything this kind of falling pitch, but if it's a high class, it pushes it down in Isan. For the middle class and the low class, it makes it fall, but again, from that's a middle falling tone rather than a high falling tone in Thai, in standard Thai. And then these are the short ones. So for example, the word in for the word mot lao, mot to mean to be finished in standard Thai is but. So this still has its but. So but that is a middle class dead. If it was central Thai, you can see middle class dead is is this stopped short dead, mot. But in Isan, if you want to say mot, you would say but. You can see, follow this green short line above that. But lao, mot lao, but lao, because lao is a low class using maitor. So low class maitor, follow this green line down here. It is falling from the middle. So mot lao, but lao, but lao. You see that? Okay, so I know we don't have time to go right into it. No, it's to get these tones, you just have to have a solid understanding of this tone system that we covered last week or in the last webinar, and you'll be able to go and use that. Finally, actually, I'll probably go to some questions first, but we also have the issue of vocabulary, which I'll probably touch on in a minute. But first, I want to come to the questions because I see that there are questions already coming in here. Let me just come back here. I'll bring my camera back. Okay. Okay, so people are able to watch in. Hello to Switzerland. Hi Cedric. Hi Jixian. Hi everybody. Oh, we have a phone. Even people calling in. We have people calling in now. Anyway. Okay, so yeah. So the questions here. What about words? So we've learned how to shift the tones. What about the words? Well, before we actually go into the words, I wanted to I'll touch a little bit on sound shifts of consonants. Now, I mentioned already about the shift from ra to ha, but have a look. These are some other ones that use. Now, you can actually see in Lao spelling resembles this as well. But for example, have you ever gone and heard Thais tell you till they're blind in the face? You need to say krap or pla, kin arai, kin pla, and they'll say this pla. But then when they're speaking amongst themselves, you'll see pla just turn into pa. Well, in Isan, it's actually a rule. So any of these consonant clusters that we see here in standard Thai, so for example, pa, la, pla, in Isan, you can be pretty safe to chop that This is actually a semi-vowel, so ya, ra, la, wa. Chop that out, so the word blah with a l in it just becomes ba. And what would the tone be? Well, in Isan, if we have a look, ba is a middle class with no tone marker, so it would be this green line here in the first column, in the middle one, so that is ba. So where blah in Central Thai becomes ba in Isan. Let's have a look at some other tones. So, and again, for another example, so the word prom, we have a maito over this consonant cluster too. So prom, cut the ra out, becomes pom, but it's still not pom because we have maito on a low class. What happens? Maito on a low class becomes pom. So prom lao becomes pom lao. Got it? And then the other classic one is ra rua, goes into a ha. Another one also that you might see, we know from Standard Thai that that Yong in some words can be pronounced ny. Okay, it can be written like that, and it's like a ny sound. So you'll hear this sound a lot still in Lao, and actually when written in Lao, it's written with this letter. So for example, the word Yong is written like this, okay, but it's actually pronounced Nyong, Nyong, Nyong. So you get a lot of these nasals where the Ying would normally be, and some words have actually jumped over in spelling in Standard Thai, but you get used to these nasal letters, this nasal nya, still very prevalent in Isan. Another example, for example, you will also see words written like this. So yang, yang, but it's pronounced nya. So that becomes nyang, meaning arai, what? Okay, nyang, 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 what's up? Okay, so these are some standard sound changes. Now that we've gone through the sound changes, let's have a look at some typical words in some core words. So I'm going to write over here on the IP. So the word pom and chan, meaning I. So this is female male, becomes koi. Okay, so it's actually written like that. Maito. Let me just do my yo yak. It can come out. So koi, koi, koi is I. So koi,ผมไม่รู้ ผมไม่รู้ Let's use this as our sentence here. So now we can substitute this ผม turns into koi. Okay, koi, and that's it with a tone like that. Koi. Mai. Let's have a look at the word. We have this word ba. Ba, and if you know Chinese, it's like the word bu, ba. Okay, so mai is ba. So mai, let's substitute to ba. So write it in here, ba. And then ru, remember the sound shift we have, ra turns into ha, so ผมไม่รู้ turns into ค่อย ba, and the tone would, if we look at that tone chart, it's a low class with a maito. Ru becomes ฮู้ ค่อยบ่ฮู้ ผมไม่รู้ I don't know ค่อยบ่ฮู้ I don't know ผมไม่รู้ Central Thai ค่อยบ่ฮู้ I don't know in Isan. You get it? So what we've done, we've substituted the tones, and then we've substituted the sound for some consonants, and then for some words you have one-to-one changes you can make, and just with those few tweaks you could just study up for a day or two, just doing a couple of these tweaks across, and you'll realize that your Thai is sounding more and more accurate if you go and try and speak Isan in these places. Okay, let me go back. Well, okay, have people enabled that? Okay, can people see my screen? Okay, some people are saying that they can somebody please respond in there? Some people are saying they can see my screen. Some people say they can't see my screen. It looks like everything here is broadcasting okay, but if you can't see the screen, please let me know. I've got the things up here, and I will make sure that it is rectified. Oh, I see what you mean. You can see me, but you can't see that screen. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so these are things that I was talking about. The we'll just go back over them again quickly. So the law, cut that out, and it becomes blah. My apologies to all of those people who didn't see that. Actually, let me even enlarge it for you on the screen now. I'll just put it here. And then we have the poro, we cut it out, and it becomes, so from prom becomes pom. Prom lao, pom lao. Rọเรือ becomes ฮอ so โรงเรียน becomes ห้องเรียน โรงเรียน ห้องเรียน because we know that a low class in Isan ends up getting almost like a falling tone. So โรงเรียน ห้องเรียน. And then also this Yong Yong sound actually keeps its nya. So it's nyang. My apologies to those people that didn't see the screen just now. And then after that, what we did was move down and looking at these core words again. So we have pom, okay? So pom and chan, you can substitute as koi. Kun uses, now, jiao. See how in Central Thai, jiao, we have this very high-pitched, it starts high and falls, jiao. But look what happens if we have a look in Isan here. We want to look at the green, this middle column, Meito. It's not as high. That the red one, that's Central Thai. It starts high and goes down, jiao. But here we're looking jiao. It starts in the middle of your voice, then falls. So instead of jiao. And this is one of the keys when Central Thai speakers try and speak Isan. They have a tendency, they might swap the words over like koi, but they only swap the words and they don't actually swap the tones. They keep their central tones, which to an Isan speaker would then sound very very not really correct. So let me pull back here, and then you can see this word here. So kun is jiao. Mai becomes ba. Mai ba. And actually I said it's like bu because it sounds like that, but the original word that it came from in Chinese, for those Chinese speakers there, I'll write it in red, is actually this word here. This wu, meaning negative. Okay, wu, ba. Okay, mai ba. And then arai becomes nyang. Arai, nyang. So I'll write this here. Nyang. Nyang, meaning what? Actually, let me delete some of these. I'll delete that out there for the moment. Okay, so is what? Arai, nyang. What's the matter? Ben yang, ben yang, ben arai, ben yang. Tinai. Now this is a very interesting one. This is where. Okay, so if in standard Thai it would be T falling tone, T nai. In Isan it becomes yu sai. Okay, so yu sai, tinai, yu sai. And you'll notice this I is still there. For example, the word cry, Krai, if you learned the cracking Thai fundamentals, you would have learned that krai is actually kon dai, which person. So instead of kon, you'll often hear, so kon meaning a person and dai meaning which. Okay, kon dai krai. But in Isan, kon often gets changed to the word pu. Okay, kon un, pu un. So pu, pu dai turns into pai, pu dai, and that turns into pai. And it's with this Isan rising tone, not a central tone. So pu dai, pai, who, tinai, you say. And then we have this word here, jak, is the word thad. Now we know thad from meaning but in standard Thai. So I'll write here, jak, ma jak nai. So jak meaning from gets turned into ta. Okay. So ta sai is jak nai, where from, ta sai. So ma jak nai, ma, to come from. We remember ma jak nai. Where do you come from? Ma jak nai becomes here ma ta sai. Maแต่ใส มาจากไหน maแต่ใส. So next time you go up and you meet a Thai that you suspect comes from Isan, or you know they come from Isan, you can ask them some simple questions now. What's up? เป็นหยัง Where do you come from? มาแต่ใส. And basically that word dai can be used as a generic question word. So what จังหวัด are you from? จังหวัดใด จังหวัดใด What จังหวัด จังหวัดใด จังหวัดอะไร จังหวัดอะไร จังหวัดใด. So day is your generic question word you can throw in there, and you see just with these some substitutions, but you need to substitute the word and the tone, and in some places also the consonant might have a slight shift. Okay, that's good. People can see it now. Okay, it looks like everybody can see me now. So yeah, my apologies from that. Before we go on, again, I just want to let everybody know that we are still running our 50% off. So for people who, this whole system that we're talking about now is basically it's understanding, and this is why I call cracking the Thai fundamentals. Through the Cracking Thai Fundamentals program, I give you the keys to be able to see this beautiful laid out map of the language. Thai is just this beautiful system that fits together. The writing system fits with the sounds, fits with the tones, and it's all there. Many times when you're learning from a Thai or another teacher, they'll just teach you maybe in this linear form or how they expect you to learn, or maybe that you learned English, and it doesn't do the Thai language justice. So through Cracking Thai Fundamentals, what I've done is basically laid out this beautiful system that Thai is built on, and then we build the language, the meanings, preparing your body, and through doing that, once you can do that, you can see through this lesson, the same foundation you can change into any other part of any other Thai dialect that you are you're wanting to speak or you're wanting to learn. So right now we're giving 50% off that. So instead of 299 bucks for the standard package, we've got it for $150, which is phenomenal. It's half price. So you can go in, use that webinar code, webinar 1605, and today is the last day because it's to the end of this month. So so after tomorrow, we'll probably keep it open until the end of tomorrow, and then we will stop using that offer. So you should be able to see that coming up on the side of your panel there. And also to those people who have been looking at Glossicare, and we've basically translated all three. Let me just pull my camera up again here. we've translated all 3 of the Glossica books now, retranslated them, and they're really, I'm going to be proud to put my name to this one. So we basically took what had been done, we re-edited all of them, checked them, and then they'll be recorded hopefully in the next week or so, and we'll be able to put them up, brand new Glossica files for Thai, books 1, 2, and 3. So 3,000 sentences to get your Thai going. Okay, so Glossica will be coming back up, and it's the brand new improved version. Okay, let me take that down for the moment and see what other questions we've got. Okay, so looking at learning Isan, what are my suggestions? If you want to actually learn and get the vocab, have a look at this book. Okay, and it's going to throw that. This book is called Thai Isan Lao Phrase Book. Now, I normally dislike just standard phrase books, and you can see this is by Asper Mulurup. Now, he's a Scandinavian guy. He's done a very good job here, and calling it a phrase book doesn't do it justice. It's linguistically correct. He uses IPA all the way through it for the most, and what he does is he goes through, first of all, you can see here, he goes through the different regions where different different Lao dialects are spoken. Yeah, he has some basic phrases in there where you can see a comparison between those, and he's used some of his own tone markers in there. I'd say probably one thing that I would change in here is the actual marking of the tones and laying out the map. But apart from that, it's all very, very good. But then also, as we go further, you can see these fantastic charts, and it gives parallel charts. And you can, and as you go through, you basically see it's just with a slight tweak, 1 or 2 slight tweaks, and you can change all of your vocab over one by one, and he'll show you what you need to change, what doesn't need to change. But this is a great book, and it goes through it. I thought what would be a fun thing to try for this, we've got about 10 minutes left. I want to show you how to use this chart now, and with a very easy thing, and that's how to count the numbers in Isan. So let's have a look here. Okay. So I'm going to write 1 to 10 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 20. Oh, my screen isn't up again. Sorry, I'll pull my screen up for you. Here we are. Okay, you should be able to see the screen now. And 10, and I'm going to write 20 here because 20 is a special number in Isan. Okay, in standard Thai, we would write this. This would be Ning. You can say them with me to practice if you like. Ning, low tone. Song. Okay, and this is a rising tone. Sam, rising. Si, low tone. Ha, falling tone. Ho, oh, ho. I'm just writing it in IPA here, so it's going to be easy for everybody to access. Dead. So hawk is a low tone. Dead. Low tone. Bad. Low tone. These are all low. Gao. Falling tone. Sip. Oh. Low tone. And then I'll put yi sip, which is actually yi and then sip. Okay, so we'll just say black. Now I'm going to write the actual word in here. So Ning in Thai, just for those people who want to follow on in the writing. Song, Sam, Si, 5 high class 4 ไม่โท6 is high class short dead 7 middle class short dead 8 middle class long dead 8 9 is middle class ไม่โทsorry 9 and then 10 is high class short dead and then 20 okay, now I'm going to get a green color and let's go through one by one and work out what these tones are going to be. So Ning is a high class, it's got because it's got this ho heap masking it and a Mai egg. So what happens with high class and Mai egg? Look at the green one. So I'll just turn these other ones off. I'll turn Central Thai off and I'll turn Vientiane, because we're just going to look at Isan. So high class Mai egg is this middle kind of one. So here we go. 1 2 so that's a high class no tone marker. So high class no tone marker, it's still going to rise. So here we go. 2 3 again, that's the same. That's high class no tone marker. So it's going to be like that. 3 4 so that's a high class with a Mai egg, the same as this one. 4 5 is a high class and Mai to. What happens with high class? So it's this one here, and Mai to, it's a low tone. So 5 6 so that's a high class short dead. What happens to high class short dead? We go here, short dead, high class 6. You can see it starts in the middle of the voice and it goes up quickly at the end. So 6. So middle class short dead. What happens with middle class short dead? Well, it's the same as high class short dead. So 6 7 6 7 8 is the same. 8. Actually, that's a long, but you can see here. Stop throat, long dead. Oh, 8. Sorry, that tone was wrong here. So 8 9 is a middle class Mai to. So middle class Mai to, what happens there? Middle class Mai to 9 starts in the middle. Instead of this high falling one that we'd have in 9 it just becomes 9. So starts in the middle and then falls down. 9. And then finally 10 is the same as Ning. It's a high class, is high class short dead. So it would be actually 10. And then 20, I just wanted to put this special one in because there's a special word for it. It is sao. Okay, sao. I'll write it in here. Sao means 20. So 25, sao ha, you would say. 25 baht, sao ha baht. So instead of, now let's go through Central Thai. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 20 for 20. Now, let's see if it works. We'll count according to these tone contours that we've just done here from Isan. Ready? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 sao. You see that? Let's do it once more. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 sao, as opposed to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 20. There you go. So that's the process you're going to go through. Once you just internalize those tone charts, I'll just bring my camera back. Oh, actually, I'll probably leave that there. It's going to be a good exercise for you to look at. That's the exercise you go to. get the vocab, get everything, but before you do that, just start to feel these tone, the way the tone class or the consonant classes fit in like this with a new tone structure. Once you've got that, the rest is going to be a piece of cake. As I keep speaking here, I'm going to bring this chart back up for you so you can look at that now too. And you can, so the red is standard Central Thai, the green is Isan, and the blue is Vientiane. Okay, actually, this is probably the one you're going to want. This is better. Okay, I haven't put the colors in there. All right, let me go back and let's see what we have here. Okay. Actually, yeah, there are some other things that you might notice. What other sounds do we change? Sometimes you will see the sound turn into an okay, gets turned into it happens across there. You'll notice some other strange changes. Actually, sometimes you'll find that if you're going to Northern Thai, then sala I, if it's mai muan, that also turns into a o. So the word hai in Northern Thai becomes ho,เอามาho,เอามาให้. If you wanted to say in Isan, it would be เอามาให้ เอามาให้ เอามาให้. Okay. Looking for more. Okay. One thing that I wanted to actually, you probably remember from, if you wanted to map out, and I have, if for those people who have done the homework sheet, you would see this. Let me just pull out standard central tones. You should be able to see this here, and I want to bring up my tone words. Standard Thai tones, and here we are. So basically, by using those words here, let me zoom in a little bit for you. And I'll actually zoom in even more here. I'll keep this on the screen at the moment, but you can go through with your friends, not just from Isan, but from anywhere, and just ask them to pronounce each of these words for you. And when they do, you'll find that those, actually, I wonder if I can cut and paste this into here. Put that V. No, that's not going to work. I just want to bring these words here down into this one. Okay, so that works now. So if you ask them those words, these are the tone contours for the words. So this is your basically the recipe of how to develop a conversion chart for Isan or any language. So if you get those very same words and you give it to somebody who speaks Central Thai, they will also they'll do the thing. Let me pull this down. So that's Isan up at the moment. I'll put Central Thai. So there's Central Thai tones, and then I'll put the la. So basically, if you get it, if you can now, just write those words if you don't have them already, and you can use those words. I'll say them in Thai as we go across. I'll say the ones across the top row first. Ka, 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 ka. And if you said those words in Isan, they would say ka, 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 kat. Again, I'm going to say the red line now for these middle class words. So ka, ka, kat, ka, kat. Now I'm going to say those words using the green tone contour. This is what people would say to you. And you might find different ones, just mark them down because it's all using the same system. Ka, ka, kat, ka, gat. So gat to bite. Where in Central Thai we say gat. Someone from Isan would say gat. And then finally for the voice or the low class would be the red line, ka, 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 kat. To say it according to this green contour, which is the Isan contour now, would be ka, 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 kat. Got it? So use this chart to map the language that you have there. Let me just come back here. I'm going to go and put up this again. We have, okay, okay, there are people there. I'm going to go and attend to those raised hands. We have Cracking Thai Fundamentals, the combo, 50% off those now. So you can get basically, instead of $2.99 for $150, you get everything. It's really exciting having those in. And actually this week we're going to be launching, if you work for an organization, especially in hospitality, we've put together a service pack for Thai staff to learn English, Thai staff to learn Chinese, and then non-Thai staff to learn Thai using all of this system here, Cracking Thai Fundamentals, Glossica, and another service pack that I'm actually doing to help meet both ways, and also foreigners, non-Thai staff learning Chinese. So we're launching all of these B2B corporate packages, really exciting this week. And this Thursday, if you're in the service industry, send us an email at info@jacademy.com and we'll send you the details. But I'll be doing a webinar in Thai targeted at Thai service staff and turning Tinglish into international standard English. And it's basically all the stuff that we're doing for Thai and changing our mouth and throat. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be doing it for Thais to basically turn Tinglish back into English, realize what's going on in throats. Even Thais that think that they might have got good grades learning English at school, but they find that they still have a strong accent, or they aren't too confident in speaking English. Well, we're going to be fixing that. So this Thursday, I think at 3 p.m., we'll be running that webinar. For more info, contact us at info@jacademy.com. Okay, let me go back. I've got two hands up. What are these hands up? People, let me see if I can. I can't see people's hands up here now. Oh, I'm pulling the chat back up. Can you see it now? Okay, it seems funny. Let me re-enable this then too. I'm seeing some people are having some technical issues there. Let me know if you can access that now. Okay. Oh, we've got 2 minutes left. So let me just recap quickly. When learning Isan, is it a separate language? Some would say yes, but actually, and Isan speakers identify themselves as they will say they speak Lao, Wow Lao. They speak Lao rather than Central Thai. But is it the same Lao as spoken in Vientiane there? Well, if somebody in Vientiane listened to the Isan spoken in say Yasothon or Roi Et, it would sound quite different. You can see that Vientiane is these blue line, the Isan is the green line. The tones would be different. Some of the vowels would be different. Also, of course, there would also be vocabulary that would be different. Is it the same language? Well, it's just this gradient contour. And as you get further down, you hear Central Thai. And so things, both sounds change, vocabulary changes, and also the culture of the people change between each little province and each little town, each province, and then all the way down. So I like to prefer to look at it as a gradient of change from there, rather than saying this is one set language. And if you understand the system, well, then you can learn all of them. You can use all of them. We're hitting right on 6 p.m. now. So this is the first introduction to Isan. Now, we haven't had a lot of language samples. I think for a future one, I'd love to have an Isan speaker in here, and we could actually get a lot of live samples of speaking and seeing how the rhythms, because it's one thing to know the theory like this and be able to go out and do it. It's another thing to really hear the rhythms of the language at work. And so maybe we can do one in the future where we actually, all of this is put into practice and you can hear real live Isan being spoken, and we'll analyze it as well. I'm Stuart J. Raj. Register for next week's, not in 2 weeks' time, we're going to have Eating Thai Style. Don't fuck it up. And we'll be looking at Thai food etiquette, what to order, how to order, what Thais would expect you to order, and how they'd expect you to act maybe at the dinner table. All of this fantastic stuff. See you in 2 weeks' time. I'm Stuart J. Raj. Sawadee krap.